And as Simon said, that's not always easy when we have business targets to meet every year. But we must realise that startups that none of us had heard of 3 years ago now have a direct route to our audiences. They're fast and they let the audience communicate back. And that's something established news operations like CNN can't ignore. Second, I think we need to realise what all these changes mean to us, the news providers, and our audiences. So this will be the main focus of me this morning. I'd like to look at how the internet is changing how CNN gathers and delivers its news for television and online, and also how our audience is contributing to the news, the famous citizen journalism. I hate, by the way, the phrase citizen journalism, but no one yet has thought of something which better describes the trend, so I'll stay with it. Finally, I'd like to look at how this impacts all of us and our competitors as we head bravely into a future which is dominated by increasingly large internet giants. Now, for almost 3 decades, CNN has been one of a small number of networks that has spanned the world for TV news. And innovation and change always draws scepticism. When Ted Turner started CNN back in 1980, the critics said that it would never last. They called it chicken noodle news. These were probably the same people, by the way, that said that computers would move all paper from offices. So we were the first back then, 27 years ago, and I wonder if anybody can guess how many 24-hour news stations there are in the world today. Well, there's 100, nearly 100, and in fact 30 of those are in one country alone, India. So it's a competitive market, to say the least. And then, meanwhile, CNN.com is this year celebrating its 10th anniversary, which in the world of websites makes it a real veteran. And just as an aside, CNN.com, by the way, was started as a CD-ROM to promote our programs, but the producers who were doing it realized the power of this new medium, and so CNN.com became the first news website from a major news organization. I think there were 1 or 2 newspapers in California that also had websites before us, but in terms of major news organizations, we were the first. And we've managed to stay at the top, partly because we're focusing on the need to make our news important to our viewers. And vital to this is the innovations that we make in our news gathering. Most recently, these innovations have embraced the growth of broadband connections. The internet has powered our news gathering. Broadband allows faster, cheaper, and most importantly, safer news gathering, so we can broadcast live from almost anywhere in the world. Rather than using a big satellite dish, we increasingly use the mobile phone. This year at the GMS conference in Barcelona, for example, we broadcast live from a mobile phone for the first time. So these innovations that we've made in digital news gathering have helped set the standard for the industry, which is why we must keep innovating. In fact, to broadcast live from a news story, we've come from taking several trucks of satellite equipment and generators weighing several tons to this. Now, this is the handsome profile of our Paris correspondent, Jim Bitterman. And if you'll see, he's actually doing a live report into